Good Friday morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get to your headlines. Breaking news this morning, a massive fire response at a senior apartment in St. Paul. We know one person has died from that fire. It happened on East Como Boulevard, just southeast of Lake Como. Fire chief says crews arrived and found fire in one apartment unit and that one person dead. They started evacuating the first floor first, then the second, third, fourth, followed after that. One resident says he saw a person being taken out unresponsive on a stretcher. The chief says they are now trying to secure the building. Fire crews put the fire out within an hour, but they say it was difficult to access the building.
Just the location of the building, it's with the train, can sometimes hinder response, and plus to the north of us there's construction, so just the specific location of it can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah, I was worried about a few other people I know. There's a lot of people in here, walkers, and they on different floors. I knew the elevator wasn't working.
St. Paul Fire says it's unclear how the fire started and investigation is ongoing. Just this morning, here's a live look from Washington, D.C., where the Attorney General there is suing to block President Trump's takeover of the Metropolitan Police Department. The lawsuit challenges Trump's executive order bringing the National Guard into the city and Attorney General Pam Bondi's order claiming federal control of the D.C. police force. Bondi announced Monday that DEA Administrator Terry Cole would be the emergency police commissioner of the Metro Police Department for the duration of Trump's takeover. The D.C. Attorney General says Trump only has the authority to request services for federal purposes. Happening right now, President Donald Trump is on his way to Alaska for a high-stakes summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump says he's going into this meeting with a goal of ending Russia's 3-year war in Ukraine. Now, notably missing from the meeting, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. President Trump says if all goes well today, there will be a second meeting soon to bring all sides to the negotiating table. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. Today's highly anticipated summit happening at a U.S. military base outside Anchorage. Two senior administration officials tell NBC News that while final details are still being worked out, President Trump is expected to roll out the red carpet for Putin and greet him on his arrival. This morning, President Trump heading to Alaska to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin face-to-face in the hopes of moving a step closer to ending Russia's 3-year all-out assault on Ukraine.
If it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was not invited to Alaska, but President Trump hopes for a swift follow-up, including all parties.
All I want to do is set the table for the next meeting, which should happen shortly.
Zelensky meeting instead this week with European allies, signaling their support and determination to hold the line against further Russian aggression, including prioritizing a ceasefire and security guarantees for Ukraine over any talk of giving up Ukrainian territory.
The president's hope is to achieve some stoppage of fighting so that those conversations can happen.
Secretary of State Rubio among the high-level U.S. officials set to join today's talks following a one-on-one between Presidents Trump and Putin and capped by a press conference, though it's not clear if both presidents will take questions. During a 2018 Helsinki summit, President Trump took criticism for appearing to defer to Putin over questions about Russian meddling in the 2016 election. In recent weeks, he's sharpened his tone as Putin has defied repeated calls to stop the assault on Ukraine.
We get a lot of bull thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth.
Now voicing optimism that both sides will agree to a long-sought peace. Ahead of today's meeting, Putin praised what he called the U.S.'s energetic and sincere efforts to stop the fighting. Critics are adamant that he not be rewarded for his aggression, some saying that's already happened with this meeting on U.S. soil. The White House rejects that, arguing it's worth the effort to try for peace. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, right now, Air Canada is canceling more flights ahead of a possible flight attendant strike in less than 24 hours. The 10,000 workers are threatening to walk off the job if they don't have a new contract by midnight. Those talks are at a standstill over issues like pay raises. If the walkout happens, the airline says it would suspend all of its Air Canada and Air Canada Rogue flights, impacting about 130,000 people a day. They say by the end of today, they could cancel 500 flights. The airline will reach out to customers by email or text to let them know if their flight is impacted. Now, we did check MSP's website before our show this morning. So far, the Air Canada flight appears to be flying out on time. Developing this morning, accused political assassin Vance Belter is facing 8 new state charges after being indicted by a county grand jury. Michelle Beck explains what's new.
All these new developments are happening in state court. If he is convicted there, Vance Belter would have no chance of being pardoned on the federal side, where he already pleaded not guilty. So let's break down those new state charges, 8 of them in total. Belter faces 2 counts of first-degree murder. That's for the killings of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. There's 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder that involves State Senator John Hoffman, his wife Yvette, their daughter Hope, and the 4th person being Representative Kristen Bonner of Maple Grove. Federal officials said Bonner was not home when Belter went there, too. The last 2 charges are impersonating a police officer and felony animal cruelty for shooting the Hortman's dog.
Because Belter remains in the custody of the federal government, we will wait until he's back in state custody to continue our prosecution. Until then, we will continue to prepare our case. When Belter returns to state custody, we will be prepared to prosecute him, to hold him accountable to our community. We will do everything in our power to ensure that he is never able to hurt anyone again.
The maximum penalty on the state charges is life in prison because Minnesota doesn't have the death penalty. The death sentence, however, is still possible if federal prosecutors say they want to pursue it.
Michelle, thank you. Developing right now in Minneapolis, the city council is pushing back on Mayor Jacob Frey's $2 billion budget proposal that includes a nearly 8% property tax hike. And the mayor says his budget saves more than $20 million with no layoffs to city staff and no interruption to core city services. The mayor says some of those cuts come from vacant positions and includes work that can be handled by already existing staff. But city council members voiced their concerns about cutting programs like sidewalk snow removal.
These are very real and very critical services. I understand that difficult decisions have to be made, but I anticipate the council's discussions with the administration will begin with these concerns. I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues to pass a people-centered budget that truly cares for our residents' needs without raising the projected levy, just as we did last year.
If the mayor's budget is passed, property taxes on a median home in Minneapolis will go up roughly $240 a year. A man who was allegedly involved in a violent struggle with a Minneapolis Park police officer will make his first appearance in court today. Tazrick Nall is facing charges for assault and disarming a police officer. Prosecutors say the officer was trying to detain him after police got a call about a man touching children. Court documents say at some point Nall got his hand on the officer's gun and it went off. Well, the face-off over redistricting in Texas is coming to a head today. State Republicans are trying to redraw maps early in a way that could win their party 5 congressional seats in the midterms. The state House Democrats are outside Texas to break quorum, but give 2 conditions for the return. One is the adjournment of a special session that's underway. That's expected to happen today, though the Republican governor says he'll promptly call a new session. The second condition is for California lawmakers to propose their own new maps to offset changes in Texas. Right now, a community in Cosmos is preparing for Sunday services without a church. Their historic church, standing for more than 130 years, burned to the ground. The First Evangelical Lutheran Church of Cosmos, about an hour west of the Twin Cities, caught fire just 24 hours ago. Officials calling it a total loss. But leaders say the heart of the church is still very much alive. Pastor Mindy Shakala was one of the first to get called as the flames burned.
It takes your breath away. It overwhelms you with emotion to see that.
Investigators are still working to figure out what caused the fire. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. The next service will be this Sunday at Beckville Lutheran Church in nearby Litchfield. If you'd like to help the church as it figures out its next steps, we have those details on KARE11.com. Tomorrow, the Minnesota Renaissance Festival kicks off its 7-weekend run, just 4 months after a fire destroyed several buildings. So this morning, we've got some tips if you plan to head there this year. On RenaissanceFest.com, there's options to buy advanced sale tickets at Quick Trip and Cub. We found people on social media who say they snagged the 2-ticket 2 turkey leg combo bundle at Costco. As for getting there, the website has a list of park and ride bus stops which operate from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Inside the gates, you'll notice that April fire that took out several food vendors and artisan stands. Fair reps say they are working to replace those 6 buildings. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.